Welcome back to Gooner Fanzine TV. Moments after Arsenal's ridiculously improbable 3-2 victory over Vitoria Sporting Club of Portugal. It's just a ridiculous game. I'm really confused. I'm obviously really happy that Arsenal have won. Pepe, 2 late Pepe goals have completely changed the atmosphere at the Emirates, completely saved Emery's blushes tonight, and won the game basically. Emery brought Pepe on. Pepe's flattered to deceive all season, basically. We know he's talented. £72 million should surely prove that. But he came through tonight the way you wanted a £72 million player to do so. He got a late equaliser with about 15 minutes to go, probably a little less actually, after Arsenal were 2-1 down, going into the break at 2-1 down as well, after Martinelli equalised for Arsenal after former Spurs player Marcus Edwards scored the opener. Bruno Duarte put Vitoria 2-1 up before half-time. And the atmosphere around the Emirates, it was still supportive, and so it should be because you're supporting your team, but there was a lot of moans about Emery. And as the second half progressed, you did fear what was going to happen if the scoreline had stayed the same. Not so much in terms of the group, because even if Arsenal had lost tonight, they'd still get through, more or less. The group's not really that important. It was the performance tonight. And midway through the second half, there were a lot of grumbles because Arsenal weren't playing that well. They looked disjointed again. The back line looked not as good as the sort of component of its parts, because obviously Bellerin was back, Tierney was back, and they've got so much more to offer, but they looked shaky. And at 2-1 down with 15 minutes to go, you did fear for Unai Emery more than Arsenal, really, because Arsenal are going to get through this group, as I say. But then up stepped Pepe with a fantastic free kick to make it 2-2 with 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, whatever it was. And Arsenal really kicked on from there. Mustafi missed with a header with a few minutes to go. Holding had a header as well that was over. 2 minutes to go. We were actually into injury time when upset Pepe to grab the winner to send the Emirates absolutely wild. We're absolutely overjoyed. It's absolutely fantastic. Great performance with the last 15 minutes to go, basically, with Arsenal. But it still papers over a lot of cracks. Saves Emery's blushes tonight. Pepe certainly saved Emery's blushes tonight. Arsenal continue to thrill and frustrate in equal measures. With Dan the man Mountney, who's just come from Emery's press conference. But firstly, what did you think about that performance tonight? What did you think about the result and Pepe?
I thought it was woeful, and Pepe, I'm going to describe him as a plasterer, because he really plastered over the cracks of a terrible performance, didn't he? I mean, if he hadn't scored those 2 goals, we would have been out here saying about how awful Arsenal are, how they need to improve, how bad things were both defensively and midfield and in attack as well, because all over the pitch they were the second best for most of that game. Pepe changed the game, and he really showed why Arsenal paid so much money for him tonight. Yeah,
I mean, he's obviously a confidence player. That'll give him a massive boost now, won't it?
Well, I mean, I tweeted this, I said the 2 goals were as important for him as they were for Arsenal tonight. You know, that's really going to hopefully push him on and kickstart his Arsenal career, because he has been poor in the games he has played so far. Definitely his best performance by far, and he played 10 minutes, didn't he? So, I mean, massive for him, absolutely huge. Emery keeps talking about, you know, how he's improving and how his confidence is getting better, and I think we saw that tonight. I mean, the first one was brilliant, wasn't it? It was a bit of distance. Keeper maybe could have done better, but to strike the ball with that kind of confidence and then to go and do it again just really shows what kind of quality he's got. And with a bit of confidence, hopefully he can show that week in, week out. Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, he did change the course of the game, didn't he? Because halfway through the second half, Arsenal were staring into the jaws of a really dispiriting defeat, weren't they? Yeah, I mean, there was very little creativity, wasn't there? I think Smith Rowe probably had the best chance from Tierney's cross. But other than that, it was lacklustre again. It was much the same from what we saw on Monday night at Sheffield United. It was, nothing going forward creatively, static, just a poor attacking display, really. And why do you think that was? Because over the course of the season, in terms of cup games, Emery's B-side, for want of a better phrase, has played really well. They've played with energy and vigour and athleticism. They didn't seem to do that tonight. Why do you think that was? Well, I think it was both tactically and selection-wise. I mean, he started with Torreira, Willock and Emil Smith-Rowe, and I think bar Emil Smith-Rowe, the 3 of them didn't really know where they were playing. You saw Willock dropping deep to get the ball sometimes and then being on the edge of the box. And it was the same with Torreira, especially in that second half. He started as a holding midfielder and then played as a number 10, which really makes no sense considering he's probably one of the best holding midfielders Arsenal have had in the past decade. So I think it was an issue tactically of who was playing where, who was meant to be where, runners off the ball, people dropping deep to link the attack. It was just static, which really caused the problem. Square pegs in round holes again through misguided tactics and disjointed tactics. Why is he doing that? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, there's a long list of just bizarre decisions he's made. I think playing Torreira as an attacking midfielder is probably up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be starting in the Premier League in place of someone like Granit Xhaka each week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he's, as I say, one of the best holding midfielders Arsenal have had in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's, as I say, it's just one of many decisions that just boggles the mind, doesn't it?
I mean, what was positive from certainly the first half and his performance all through the game really was Martinelli. What was your take on Martinelli tonight?
I think he's adapted really well. Obviously, he's only played in the cup games. He's had a few minutes off the bench in the Premier League. But every time you see him for an extended amount of time, he looks lively. He scored in every game he started, I believe. Yeah. And he looks like someone who's really going to develop into a really good player. And for £6 million from the Brazilian 4th division, he looks like an absolute steal. Yeah. Where they found him, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's credit to Arsenal scouting.
Of course, system, and he's only going to get better. He really has adapted well. And looking like a really promising player.
And what do you think about Lacazette tonight? Obviously, he's still easing his way back into sort of full fitness, but he battled at least, didn't he?
I mean, you've got to give him that. He really did put the effort in, and he did look a bit rusty, as you say. That final pass and the finish was maybe lacking. Yeah. But he got forward. He tried to run at them. There was some smart turns. That little nutmeg in the first half was nice, wasn't it? It's obviously going to take him a while to get back to full fitness. It was an ankle knock that he had from pre-season, so he was kind of playing on that for the first few weeks, which is obviously difficult. He's only going to make an injury worse. But it's good to see him back, and hopefully he can get back to sharpness soon.
Absolutely. And just in terms of the back line, there was a lot of sort of talk about Bellerin and Tierney coming back to bolster the side with a view to strengthening the Premier League team, as it were. They didn't play that well in the first half. Why do you think that was?
Well, I think for the first goal, you've got to look at Tierney. He was out of position, wasn't he? He was having to run back, didn't get there, didn't deal with it. I think if you look at it as well, Bellerin goes in for a challenge and gets sold with a dummy by Marcus Edwards, which is rather ironic considering he's a former Tottenham player. Indeed. But Tierney with the mistake for the first goal. I mean, you've got to look at the centre-backs for the second as well. If you watch when Maitland-Niles loses the ball, he was the worst player on the pitch for me. He was awful. Yeah. If you watch the centre-backs, both of them are sitting deep and there's a massive gap between the two of them, and that allows the first shot to happen, which obviously then leads to the goal. You've got to look at either one of them to communicate and say, I'm going for this, you drop off, you mark the runner. There has to be more communication there. Yeah. I think they looked a bit shaky all night. Obviously, Guimaraes had plenty of chances, didn't they? Yeah. And they constantly got round the back, which is a bit of a concern. Bellerin still looks a bit rusty. Obviously, he had a really, really bad injury, didn't he? So you'd expect that. But it's obviously, it does, on paper, it looks like Arsenal's strongest back four if you take Mustafi out. Yeah. Who you're going to play alongside Rob Holding, I really don't know.
Maybe Louise.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not convinced by him or Socrates. Yeah. You could put Chambers in there, but you've got to think that they're going to take a while to gel as a unit, for one, and they're going to take a while to get back to full fitness and match sharpness. Yeah. So I think to expect instant results and say, throw them all into the Premier League team and we'll start winning games convincingly and defending well is not the case. Yeah,
absolutely. Just in terms of the atmosphere tonight, at 2-1 down, it was starting to get a bit frustrated and potentially even a bit rebellious, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, there was plenty of Emery out banners, which, I mean, you don't want to see, do you? But it's understandable. There's obviously a lot of frustration around the Emirates. Yeah. And you can understand that both from a results point of view, a performance point of view, and a tactical point of view. I think everyone can see that the tactics being used are just ridiculous. Yeah. And, I mean, it's not just a small group of fans, as it was with Wenger to start with, saying things need to change. It's the large majority. Yeah. And I don't agree with this whole manager out movement. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. I think you should support a manager until the club says, right, their time is done. Yeah. But you've got to look at Emery and think, is the clock ticking for him now? Yeah,
questions need to be asked on so many levels. Yeah. Obviously, we've got to ask about Özil as well. You tweeted what Emery was asked about Özil. What was your take on that?
Fans wanted answers, didn't they? He didn't get them. He was very kind of, I'm not answering this question. I didn't want to hear it. I mean, I think he said, this is not the time to ask this question. Yeah. So, I think you look at the performance tonight and who would the one player have been who would have created chances? Yeah, absolutely. As Özil. Yeah. You can always question his lack of work rate, his lack of running, his lack of effort sometimes, but I think maybe it looks that way in the way he plays. You know, he's a very laid-back kind of footballer, isn't he? Yeah. But it's a game in the Europa League where you'd say, give him a chance to impress.
Yeah. It does seem like he's been managed out of the club almost, doesn't it?
He's been frozen out completely, and you've got to think what has gone on there for this to happen. Obviously, a lack of effort is something a manager never wants to see, but it has to be saying more than that, surely, at this stage. So not even getting the squad for cup games where Emery's playing his supposed B team. Yeah. There must be something going on behind the scenes that the club haven't told us, because it's a really bad situation. I think you've also got to look at it for Emery. He's now put himself in a lose-lose situation, because he's going to get criticised if he doesn't play him. Yeah. And if he does play him and he plays well, he's going to get criticised for not playing him in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's really put himself into a corner there that he's going to struggle to get out of.
Do you think it's a failure of his managerial skills not to be able to accommodate a really top-class but mercurial creative midfielder?
I mean, you look at the managers Mesut Özil have had in the past, Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger, and Mourinho especially got the best out of him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And if you watch him during his Real Madrid days, he runs around and he put in so much effort and he's running off the ball and he's sprinting around everywhere. Obviously, it wasn't like that under Arsene Wenger, but you can still easily say that he got more out of him than Emery ever has.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a case of looking at Emery and saying, you failed to get the best out of our one or two supposedly world-class players.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a bit of an indictment on Emery, I suppose, because ultimately Arsenal have won 3-2. They've got 9 points out of 9.
Yeah.
I know Frankfurt won, but they've only got 6. The 2 other teams are nowhere. They're practically through if they're not through
Yeah,
already.
well, I think if they win the next game, they're through to the knockout stages,
Yeah.
which, is obviously really good.
Yeah.
But you've got to, again, as we've been saying in the Premier League games, you've got to look at the performances and say, are these good enough?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah, exactly. And where do we go from here apart from Palace on Sunday? There's got to be a sign of, or showing, they've got to show that they're progressing. And are they? Is tonight progression?
No, not in the slightest. It's the same old issues of not being able to defend, a lack of intensity, tactical issues.
Yeah.
So it's the same old. And whether we'll see a difference against Palace on Sunday, I highly doubt it. But
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching anyway. Obviously, you'll have your own views as well. Thanks to Dan the Man for commenting and giving us some insight there. Like, comment, share. We want to hear what you guys are saying as well. There's more to come from Gooner Fanzine TV. So thanks for watching and speak soon. Cheers.